Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Today we're looking at Sanja, a new hero coming to global very soon. I'm not really sure how soon, I shouldn't say that. But we're on the test server. We're going over her kit. We're going to bring her into Guild Boss 1. We're going to bring her into AMR. And we'll see what she can all do in all the stages. Just I want to test out her damage and see how her kit really works. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, Sanja. Marksman and Piercing. Piercing is always very nice against the light armor. Very good stuff. Healer devoted to order. Those who defy order will be marked by Sanja and be trialed by her double crossbows. I'm thinking what kind of hero that was. Was it a Diablo hero that had double crossbows like this? I don't remember. I think it was the Demon Hunter, right? Yeah, something like that. Anyways, he has split attack and global skills. And he's going over the hero details. Got 13.6k HP, 4291 attack, 1093 defense, 1026 magic resistance. Cost is 18, it's kind of high for a marksman. Block is 1, they can't block anything anyways. Redeployment time is 60, attack interval is 2, attack speed is 100. It's pretty much average through the rest of this. Rage regen order 14, so pretty much average again. Nothing special going on there. Now for the promotions, we have promotion level 1, you unlock the passive Chasing Shadow. Promotion level 2, get that extended range on the sides there instead of having just the one piece in the front. Kind of nice for Guild Boss how we use her. Promotion level 3 is the Penetrating Vision. Promotion level 4, some stats. Promotion level 5, you unlock the talent. Promotion 6, you get some more basic stats. As for the talent, we have a basic attack, has a 45% chance to release Piercing Precision instead. Piercing Precision is rapidly attacks 2 enemies in range, 1 time respectively with 2 weapons, each dealing 180% damage, and will be reduced to 120% damage when there's only 1 enemy in range. So we're being looking at the 1 enemy in range for the most part. I'm going to bring her into one of the GR1 stages just to see how her damage does scale differently going against multiple enemies. On the basic attack, we have a physical attack, deals 120% damage to 1 enemy 1 time, prioritizing airborne units. And on the first passive, Chasing Shadow, if there are enemies inflicted with Mark of Enmity, that's a really weird word to say, the hero's basic attack and Piercing Precision can land extra hits regardless of the attack range. So if they are marked and they get out of a range, you should be able to still hit them if they have the mark on them. Interesting. I'm not really sure. I guess in a really tight scenario when something's sneaking by you, maybe that would work out really well, but I can't really think of anything specific where I want to utilize that. So each weapon you use deals 160% damage 1 time to all enemies inflicted with Mark of Enmity. The extra hits can be triggered even when there is no enemy in basic attack range. The only thing I can think of is the Pagios boss. Maybe I'll try to bring her in the Pagios boss in this video. I think I will. See how she does. One of the reasons is this. Periodically inflicts Mark of Enmity on the furthest enemy on the battlefield. During this period, the hero's attack ignores 50% defense lasting for 6 seconds. When Piercing Precision is triggered, reduces the cooldown by 2 seconds. Very nice. Reduces the damage dealt to the caster by 50%, increases damage received from the caster by 25%. So when you get the mark on, you get an extra 25% damage, and it becomes a little more, I want to say, tanky. Also has an arena damage increase passive, increases damage in arena by 15%. This could be useful. On the awakenings, you notice I already have her awaken level 1. That's because I don't think that they make that much of a difference. I do have to point out that I'm not too crazy about the awakenings on this hero, so getting her at A0, she's really good. Awakening level 1, Chasing Shadow deals 20% extra damage to targets inflicted with Radiant Erosion and removes 1 stack of Radiant Erosion. So whenever she uses Chasing Shadow, she's going to remove a stack of Radiant Erosion. This is kind of like a lot of these way these heroes work with the Ardor faction. Awaken 2 is attack plus 300. Awaken 3, if an enemy dies with Mark of Enmity, the hero restores 35% rage. This effect can be triggered 1 time every 20 seconds. So yeah, maybe she's going against a lot of enemies. This could be really interesting. She can just keep her ult going really well if she's going against lots of waves. Which I think is going to be, I think she might be intended for Pagios. That's what I'm going to be guessing here. Awaken level 4 is Rage Regen plus 2. That's very nice actually. Awaken 5, when Piercing Precision deals damage to different targets, increases damage dealt to each target by 240%. That's a big max, or big buff there for damage. Now I was only put her at Awakening level 1 for some testing with the Arbiter faction. I did find out from my experience that I wasn't really impressed with running her with an Arbiter team. But I did only test it on Guild Boss 1, and it might work better on Guild Boss 2, it's hard to say. For the artifact, I would suggest loading her in a Spirit Siphon, maxed out. She does have single target damage for the most part. There is other decent options. Reaper's Emblem might work well. The Sharpshooter's Crest isn't going to be too crazy for her. Bloodbond Signet might be another good option. But I think Spirit Siphon's going to be the top tier. After that, you're going to be wanting to run like Aegil's Gaze. On the ultimate, we have Seal of Retribution. Inflicts Mark of Enmity on one enemy with the highest current HP in range. Piercing Precision is guaranteed to trigger during the ultimate. So when the mark is on and the ultimate's going, she's doing Piercing Precision all the time, which means she's just hitting with both of her bows. Now because the skill only costs 600, you start off with 400, lasts for 15 seconds, and she has all that kind of rage regen built into her kit based on taking out enemies and whatnot. I am going to suggest using a Soulbond Arcana set, and after that maybe a Night Terror set would be good, or something along those lines, but I think Soulbond Arcana set is going to be the way to go. On the left side, I do have her in Annihilating Might for Guild Boss. I would suggest though, it'd probably be a good priority to rerunning her in a Warlord set instead. Alright, now, so for her factions, this is where things kind of get interesting. She does belong partially to the Arbiter faction, but I was not able to get a good enough bonus out of her from the Lord skill. Each time Divinity is consumed, faction team members gain Sacred Blessing, which is all damage plus 50%. I just wasn't able to get her doing enough damage, particularly on Guild Boss. It might work better somewhere else, but as far as Guild Boss 1, I wasn't able to get anything extra out of her. Now, for the Starpiercer faction, I found her to be really good. Actually, I pulled Silas out, put her in, and she ended up doing very similar damage, which I was really impressed with. And that was under the Yovar as a Lord. She's getting a full 45% damage boost after the first minute of the fight to her kit, which is a lot. Now she could also be paired with a Raka, and where depending on the range, this might be interesting as well if you're going in like a more of a global fight, Gear Raid 3 or something along those lines, where she can hit things out of her range, full advantage of that last part of Raka's Lord skill, which is for every 1 tile away from the target, increases the damage by 5% up to 50%. The farther they are away and she's still hitting them or still doing damage to them, the damage is just going to go higher and higher as long as they have that mark. Now she also gets, because of the Starpiercer faction, she doesn't have that extended range, which is going to be very nice, and every single Lord has that. In the Starpiercer faction, which is faction team members' attack ranges are also increased. It just adds 1 tile on the end of these. Okay, now so moving on to Guild Boss 1, Nightmare 4. I'm going to bring her in here, and I'm going to sub her out for Silas. So Silas gets a really nice chunk of damage. So if we come anywhere near that, running with Sanja is going to be incredible to me, just because she is only A1. This Silas is A5. I think he's popping right around, I think it was 150 mil out of him, which I think he might be topping out around 150 mil. Maybe I'm wrong. You probably maybe get 200 out of him some way. But in this case, I'm just going to be running Yovar, Hex, Sanja, Laurel, Hollow, the Nightmare team here, Torador, Lust, Arrogance, Volca, and Dolores. And for these guys here, this is a very typical meta team, minus Silas. Either you run Starpiercer faction with Yovar or Raka, and then you pair it with Silas and Hex, and you run your Nightmare team. Or you run like a Soul Cadence with Zillatu and something along those lines, and run with the Hex as well. And that's usually the other meta team, which is typically a little better actually. But in this case, this is the team that we're going to be running to test out Sanja's damage, and that's all I'm really looking for. Now I'm going to get everybody in a Vig buff here. I have, let's see, Dolores, Laurel, Hollow, Volca, and Torador all invigoration sets, and the rest of the heroes are just going to be receiving that Invig buff from them. So I'll start like normal. I'm going to go ahead and place down Lust. I'm going to place Volca next to her to give her the Invig. Place down Arrogance. I'm going to place Torador next to her to give him the Invig. So now these two will both have this damage boost from the Invigoration set. Then I'm going to go ahead and just place Hex back here. I'm going to put Sanja right here because I want to get her ulting more often. I typically put Yoar up here anyways in most of my Guild Boss teams anyways, so we're going to place Laurel, Hollow there, and Dolores here, and then everybody should have Invig that's going to be doing damage. Yes, everybody will. including all the heroes themselves. Now starting off, I'm just gonna go ahead and just ult right away. If I get, you can't really see anything, I guess not. As soon as Laurel's ready, I'll activate her ultimate and I'll pick her up and I'll just gonna cycle her through. And from this moment on, I'm just gonna meet you at the end of this video and show you the damage results, because I don't think you need to sit here and watch the whole fight. It's pretty standard stuff. I'll catch you in just a moment. Alright, so the run is finished now. We ended up at 90k, 90.8k blood. Very wild. I know it gets a lot crazier than this, but I think right around from 90 to 110 is probably with optimal gear and the proper invig sets. Right now I don't farm for gear raid 2 right now on the test server too well. So with really good sets like damage kind of invig sets on like Torador, Volca, and Laurel and stuff, you could probably get up to like 110 range, but this is where I'm at right now. I think it kind of caps at that. So the damage is crazy. I don't remember exactly what her damage was, so let's take a look. 130 million damage, so she's out damaged Yovar. She does have the advantage of being within Laurel's range and cycling her ults a lot more, but I would argue that Yovar doesn't really benefit from that too much. Lust and Arrogance sitting at 177, 156 million, and that is actually a 5. I am told they can do better than that. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, maybe it's a gear thing, but she is at 130 million damage. So somewhere between like an A2 Hex and an like A1 Silas kind of range. An A1 bonded Silas, I should say. It kind of sits in that kind of range. It's not bad for only being A1, and considering her A1 in particular isn't helping her at all in a single target boss fight. So I'll take it. I think that's pretty amazing for not having Silas on a team. With Silas on a team, I do usually end up getting 95 to 100, somewhere in that range. It's like that really matters with this team, as long as you have, I mean, as long as you go over what are the 50k blood, you're fine, good to go anyways. But I just wanted to see in an optimized team how she runs. Now I did run this with an Arbiter team, running with Praetus. I ran it with Init, an A5 Praetus, A5 Init, and herself for the top team, and the results were quite a bit lower. I think I ended up like 75 to 80k, and her damage was much lower too. I think she ended up at 105 million if I remember correctly. It's kind of disappointing. Now I could try to swap out Init and put another Radiant Erosion hero in there, but I don't think it's going to make a difference as far as how the team works. Like having Init in there is actually pretty optimal. Now I wanted to see how she worked on AMR. It's just a single target, one-on-one thing versus Silas. Who's better at it? Of course we know that's going to be Silas. It's really hard to keep with Silas. So stage 18, AMR, wouldn't you know it, they're there already. Let's go ahead and put Silas in there too, so I can just restart and try it with him. Actually, I'll start with him, and then I'll switch over to her and see how she does. And to be honest with you, Power Dominance is on, because I want to see that difference close and personal. Now make sure that we're not getting involved with anything else. How do they do against the boss without having to worry about the mobs on the side? And this is the easiest way to kind of do that. Here comes Silas with his ult. Old Egg is, of course, Beef Tank in the middle. Old Egg, the Beef Tank. Now here comes Silas just ripping him to shreds. 400k hit there, 400k, 400k. Silas is a nut job. He's one of a kind. You know, I don't know what to tell you. This Silas in particular is a 5 as well, so it makes it even more nutty. He's in a maxed out an exclusive artifact as well. She does not have that benefit of having some kind of cool artifact for herself yet, but Okay, so we're gonna challenge again. We saw 400k hits coming on him. He got the job done before the mobs even spawned. How is Sanja gonna compare? Is it Sanja? It must be Sanja. I bet you it's Sanja. Comes the ult. Ready a little quicker. We gotta remember this is single target. And she has like a little bit of mix where she does well. We're doing like, it's about 400k per swing, right? I mean, it's not quite as much, but she does hit there's 2 hits at a time, so it's 200k per hit. 200 to 300 if I see that correctly. Now she got it down to 40% by the time the ultimate was done. Not the most ideal, but I think that Oleg's gonna hold off. I think she's gonna hold off. Like, she's attacking these targets over here. Nice range on her. She's pretty cool like that. Now she should hit him. Hit this guy. There you go. 162. She should hit a little harder up here. Nope, it's about the same. 97. I'm gonna activate the ult. Should take care of the fight. There you go. There you go. Look at, check out that range, guys. She's just hitting whatever she wants. The furthest target away from her. Whenever that comes out. It's very cool. It looks like, actually, it looks like a little like ice arrow coming out of there or something. Very neat. Alright, I do have to admit that's very neat but hard to control. Now, taking her into GR1, and this is just a test. I just want to see how she compares, or how her attacks kind of scale and bounce around, and see what she does. I'm gonna put her at 19 and remove just a couple of heroes out of here that we don't need hanging out. Look at that. Ingrid, that's all you need for GR1, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's all you need. Just put Yovar in there. Where is she? Sanja. I'm gonna call her Sanja. I like that name. I like it sounds better. These other guys are all in there for nonsense. I don't remember if Ingrid's built or not. She's probably not. Probably a quick equip. Oh, that's a really crappy build. Anyways, we don't need to win the fight. We just want to see what Sanja can do. Sanja, down on the field. Put Dolores next to her. I am gonna put Laurel in right there. She's not doing anything right now, and she hit him from a distance when the ult is activated. Let's see. Can't activate with nobody in the range, so you can't test that. That's alright. Here comes Hollow. Go ahead and activate her skill. Here we go. Okay, so she's targeting these guys over here. Kind of bouncing off, it looks like. Does hit the boss pretty good up there. That's interesting. Look at that. That's interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Laurel. Activate her again. Now, I know she's not gonna go ahead and win the fight, but we're checking out. Hitting these guys. Oh, look at that. Hitting these guys way over here. I find it pretty intriguing. Huh. He's still doing it. Outside the ult. Wrecking them guys out there. I wonder if she can do this. I don't think she can. I wish she would target those up to the boss. She just targets the farthest enemy away. That's why she's hitting these guys and not the guys on the right. She always will target that to the farthest enemy. You see, he was the farthest away. This would be closer over here. I should put Volca in. Cycle out Laurel a little more often. She should be ready in just a moment. Get that going. Does chunk the boss pretty nice. I mean, this isn't 21, but still. 400k hits. 400k hits. She's on the field. She's getting that full 45% damage by now already. I can guarantee that. This is impressive. I know Power of Dominance is on, but still, this is very nice. I am intrigued. I am very intrigued. I have to definitely do some more testing on this character. Here we go again. Comes the big hits. She is double buff this time. Just a one-man wrecking crew right now. Very interesting. So she's targeting over there with her ult going. That's... How could we use that? Where does that come into use? The Pagios boss, I'm kind of concerned about it. She'll target the enemy that's furthest away. She's probably just going to hit the enemies that are the fish instead of Pagios. If she would hit Pagios, I'd be very interested and intrigued to know how she's going to handle that. But I think she's going to target the fish. Honest opinion. We'll find out though. Or she has her normal hits and then she gets a double hit. That's what's happening. So she's targeting the one that she's targeted on, and then there's another hit that goes off. So it's like a double hit, but that one goes off into the furthest enemy that's on the battlefield. Just gonna wait a moment for Dolores. I think this will be the end of the fight, so I'm gonna pick up our Laurel, activate Autumn. Should be able to take things out, I think, from this point. Chunking the boss really hard. No, not yet. Not yet. Gonna be able to handle this. Ult's back because she's killing enemies, so her ult came back really quick. You know, I really wish I could think of the best use for her. Seeing this, it just makes me think that there's gotta be something better for her. Oh man, what could it be though? We still got 2 enemies alive over here, which is getting kind of annoying. I think she's not even, she's targeting the boss now. Okay, now she's hitting the boss. Boss is healing himself. That's supposed to happen, that's normal. Down that enemy. Go ahead and put Laurel down, pick her up again. And that should be the end of the fight. I mean, I'm not suggesting you go use her in GR1. I'm just trying to see how our kit's working with all those enemies in her range. It's showing just like it says in the kit. When her ultimate is going off, she has that ability. Let me go to her really quick. She has the ability, instead of firing both weapons at once, just one time, she fires it once and then she fires it off in the distance to the target that's farthest away. That's the way I'm reading it, and that's how I'm seeing what's happening. Let's go back in there again quick and see if that's what it is. Facing Shadow. If there are enemies inflicted with Mark of Enmity, the hero's basic attack and piercing precision can land extra hits regardless of the attack range. How many extra hits though? Each weapon used deals 160% damage one time to all enemies inflicted with the mark. The extra hits can be triggered even when there is no enemy in basic range. That is where it comes from. I'm not really understanding what triggers it. If there are no enemies inflicted with Mark of Enmity, the hero's basic attack and piercing precision can land extra hits regardless of the attack range. So if they're marked, and the mark lands on, critically affects Mark of Enmity on the farthest enemy on the battlefield. Okay, so she's periodically doing this, then she's activating Chasing Shadow, and when she does that, then she's attacking that enemy that's marked. She's marking the enemy that's furthest away on the battlefield, and then she's attacking it with the Chasing Shadow. So that's what's happening here. Now I got it. Alright, so now I'm gonna have to just be right back in just a moment. I'm gonna have to get a couple of heroes ready to go into the Pagios boss, and we'll see how she does in there.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Alright, so this is kind of a record that I have just set, trying to test through this to see how it works. And I'm not going to show you the numbers yet. I'm going to go ahead and go through the fight in front of you and show you what I was using. I ended up pulling Razak off the team. There's some achievements coming up on the test server. Never actually ran a Codex boss on the test server yet. So I did pull up Razak in exchange for bringing Sanja into the team. Sanja. And running Nyx at A3, I believe. Or did I go to A3? Oh, yep, A3. She gets that nice rage regen. Nyx is really important for this comp. Yovar is on the team. Pagios is A3 as well. Silas is on the team at A5. But keep that in mind that Sanja is now awakened level 3. The first one, the Radiant Erosion thing, that doesn't really help us out. The attack plus 300 is very nice, of course. Awaken 3, and if an enemy dies with the mark, the hero restores 35% in rage. This effect can be triggered one time every 20 seconds. This is very nice, you get an extra 35% rage boost. Now, let's go ahead and just jump into the fight. We have Dolores with us as well. It could be argued that maybe Razak could be better to bring along, but I'd like to bring Silas because it just does direct damage to the boss, and I think it helps really on early on in the fight. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw down Silas right here. And throw no, not yet. Nyx on the left side, pointing up. Put Dolores facing the left. I should give Nyx the buff. I'm gonna put Yovar right here. We're gonna put Sanja right here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put Pagios up a bit, actually. There we go, right there. Now, as soon as their ults come up, until we get to the boss rush stage, I am just gonna go ahead and auto-activate them, take down the boss, kick his butt, and get right into the fight as soon as possible. Here he goes. No messing around. Would have liked to have been there a little earlier than that. Auto off here. You're pretty much going to be just activating things as soon as they come up, doing damage as early on as possible. Most of these heroes will take down the spears until later on in the fight. You don't really have to worry too much. Nyx is not going to get that rage regen boost until later in the fight, so for now, this is kind of just what you're left with. Waiting for her ult to come back. I'm going to activate Dolores and Silas as soon as possible down the center to hit the boss directly. He has direct means to the boss. He has a Dolores buff. If Sanja, keep that in mind, she's on the right side without a Dolores buff ever. Go ahead and activate Nyx and Yovar as well right away. It seems like you want to have these heroes do more damage to the fish. What you need to do is just take out the fish and hit the boss as much as you can directly. The spears do the huge chunks of damage, but you get a lot of extra damage from hitting the boss. Pagios gets a lot of his damage from just hitting the true damage for the boss as well. Most of his damage is just going directly over to him and just like hitting him directly. I'll go ahead and activate Dolores again. Pagios, whenever his ult comes up, just nail it. There's probably a more optimal way of doing this. This is just how I'm running it for this test. Just letting everybody pretty much go wild until later on in the fight. Again, just activating everybody's ults whenever they pop up. Nyx is even taking care of this left side with Pagios. It's very nice and very quick. These guys together take care of the right side and get direct damage to the boss as much as possible. Here comes Nyx with a Dolores buff. She's just gonna rip these guys to shreds. Pagios coming in again. It really helps to have Nyx buffed by Dolores, by the way. There you go, this time Nyx's ult came back pretty darn quick. And it's a pretty long-lasting ult, it's very nice. People complain about getting Nyx a lot. I would love a few more Nyx. Especially now, I guess maybe early on when the Pagios boss wasn't here, a Fierce Torrent boss. I could see maybe why people complain about it. Now that he is here, any Nyx is a good Nyx. Any Nyx is a good Nyx. Alright, we got a rage boost. Let's use it. We can get down some more spears. Come on, Silas, get up in there. Get up in there. Okay, Pagios took care of that spear up there. We got one left over here. We'll take a little bit of damage. We're at SS 1.4. I think we need 1.87. Here for the spears to pop up this time. Activate everybody's ults. Pagios' ult is really weird. Hit ult again. Hit Silas and Dolores. Hopefully this time around. I think Nyx should be quick. Yep. Right back to the ult again. Stay in that ult form. Rip those fish to shreds. Cooking up sushi. Ready to go. It says plus for about 70k away. I think it's about to happen. Come on. Come on. 1.859, 1.860. About to cross to 1.87 if you have the triple S. Without Razak on the team, I had to add. I'm probably not gonna do a ton of damage to these spears. The defense mark is so high, it's really hard to do anything with. At this point, most of the heroes are just kind of tickling things. Here we go with triple S. Gotta get Nyx doing some more damage. I wish she would tack further away from herself. Get to these spears and do a little more. Come on, Silas, let's go. This guy. Get another one off. Doesn't look like we got the RNG there. 1.947. No Razak. Running with Sanja. How well did she do? That is the question. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. This is a better score than I did in my testing, obviously. Alright, so the stats. Nyx coming in 160 million. She does have a maxed out exclusive artifact. She does have A3. That is the key. If she was A2 with that maxed out exclusive, she'd be sitting right around 80 million tops. Yovar, 64 million. He does a really good job as well. Silas is 46 million, but you gotta keep in mind that Silas is directly hitting the boss all the time, and he's buffed with Dolores. Now we have Sanja down here with 44.9 million, just about 45. Only about 2 million behind Silas. Interesting to me. I can't really pinpoint whether or not she's hitting the boss most of the time, or if she's hitting the spears most of the time, or if she's just doing all that damage with the fish. Pagios at 31, but most of his damage does directly hit the boss. Now I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to put Silas up in the corner with Yovar, and I'm going to put Sanja on the bottom with Dolores next to Nyx, and see how, with her having a nice invig buff, or inspiration buff, and see how that goes. I'm going to do it in a quick time lapse. I'll see you at the end of the run to go over the results. Alright, so I'm back now. How is the damage difference is the question. Now I want to see, remember last time Silas had the Dolores buff. This time it's going to be Sanja with the Dolores buff. I want to see, you saw like a 40 million, 45 million, where Silas is actually pulling ahead. Silas is A5, Sanja is A3. So, we look here. Ooh, baby. So Silas did pretty good on the right side at 54 million this time. But look who's on top. A5 versus A3. She has the lowest buff. She whoops his butt by a lot more than he does her. So that's really interesting. Yovar coming in at 42 million. Pagios at the 32. He could be better. The reason he's not better is because I have limited soul bond set right now on the test server. Still kind of working on getting some more gear. I have very limited attack percentage bangles, actually. I have like 2 of them for some reason, and I haven't been able to pull any more. I have a ton of them for the amulets and the rings. It's just I'm kind of stuck with that. Next coming in at 150. Sanja at 61. Silas at 54. Yovar at 42. Pagios at 32. Very nice results. I think this hero is really cool. I'd like to see another option for the Pagios boss or the Furious Torrent boss, and I think that's going to be your main use case. But that being said, he does perform very well in Guild Boss 1. I know she's going to do pretty decent in Guild Boss 2 as well. It's very interesting to me for this hero. But anyways, that's all I have for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. Spent a lot of time on these videos. I think it was a couple hours recording this and testing. I've been doing it all day today. Don't forget to join the Discord down in the description below. Leave a comment if you have any questions about Sanja. You can also join the Discord and ask me directly if you want to. Just go in there and at me in there, and I'll be happy to answer. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.